The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, page 101, Thanksgiving. It was the snowless Thanksgiving. We had a turkey, and Mom cooked it perfectly. We also had mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, corn, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. It was a feast. I always think it's funny when Indians celebrate Thanksgiving. I mean, sure, the Indians and Pilgrims were best friends during that first Thanksgiving, but a few years later, the Pilgrims were shooting Indians, so I'm never quite sure why we eat turkey like everybody else. Hey, Dad, I said, what do Indians have to be so thankful for? We should give thanks that they didn't kill all of us. We laughed like crazy. It was a good day. Dad was sober, Mom was getting ready to nap, Grandma was already napping. But I missed Rowdy. I kept looking at the door. For the last 10 years, he'd always come over to the house to have a pumpkin pie eating contest with me. I missed him. So I drew a cartoon of Rowdy and me like we used to be. And then I put on my coat and shoes. I walked over to Rowdy's house and I knocked on the door. Rowdy's dad, drunk as usual, opened the door. Junior, what do you want? Is Rowdy home? Nope. Oh, well, I drew this for him. Can you give it to him? Rowdy's dad took the cartoon and stared at it for a while, and then he smirked. You're kind of gay, aren't you? He asked. Yeah, that was the guy who was raising Rowdy. Jesus, no wonder my best friend was always so angry. Can you just give it to him? I asked. Yeah, I'll give it to him, even if it's a little gay. I wanted to cuss at him. I wanted to tell him that I thought I was being courageous and that I was trying to fix my broken friendship with Rowdy and that I missed him. And if that was gay, then okay, I was the gayest dude in the world. But I didn't say any of that. Okay, thank you, I said instead, and happy Thanksgiving. Rowdy's dad closed the door on me. I walked away, but stopped at the end of the driveway and looked back. I could see Rowdy in the window of his upstairs bedroom. He was holding my cartoon. He was watching me walk away, and I could see the sadness in his face. I just knew he missed me too. I waved at him, and he gave me the finger. Hey, Rowdy, thanks a lot. He stepped away from the window, and I felt sad for a moment. But then I realized that Rowdy may have flipped me off, but he hadn't torn up my cartoon. As much as he hated me, he probably should have ripped it to pieces. That would have hurt my feelings more than just about anything I can think of. But Rowdy still respected my cartoons, and so maybe he still respected me a little bit. Hunger pains. Our history teacher, Miss Sheridan, was trying to teach us something about the Civil War, but he was so boring and monotonous that he was only teaching us how to sleep with our eyes open. I had to get out of there, so I raised my hand. What is it, Arnold? The teacher asked. I have to go to the bathroom. Hold on. I can't. And I put on my if I don't go now, I'm going to explode face. Do you really have to? The teacher asked. I didn't have to go at first, but then I realized that yes, I did have to go. I have to go really bad, I said. All right, go, go. I headed over to the library bathrooms because they're usually a lot cleaner than the ones by the lunchroom. So, okay, I'm going number two and I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm concentrating. I'm in my Zen mode trying to take this whole thing as a spiritual experience. I read once that Gandhi was way into his own number two. I don't know if he could tell fortunes or anything, but I guess he thought the condition and quality of his number two revealed the condition and quality of his life. Yeah, I know. I probably read too many books and probably way too much books about number two. But it's all important, okay? So I finish, I flush, I wash my hands, and then I stare in the mirror and start popping zits. I'm all quiet and concentrating when I hear this weird noise coming from the other side of the wall. That's a girl's bathroom. And I hear that weird noise again. Do you want to know what it sounds like? It sounds like this. It sounds like somebody is vomiting. Nope, it sounds like a 747 is landing on a runway of vomit. I'm planning on heading back to the classroom for more scintillating lessons from the history teacher, but then I hear that noise again. Okay, so somebody might have the flu or something. Maybe they're having like kidney failure in there. I can't walk away. So I knock on the door, the girls' bathroom door. Hey, are you okay in there? Go away. It's a girl, which makes sense since it's a girl's bathroom. Do you want me to get a teacher or something? I asked through the bathroom door. I said, go away. I'm not dumb. I can pick up on subtle clues. So I walk away, but something pulls me back. I don't know what it is. If you're romantic, you might think it was destiny. So destiny and me lean against the wall and wait. The vomiter will eventually have to come out of the bathroom, and then I'll know that she's okay. And pretty soon she does come out, and it is the lovely Penelope, and she's chomping hard on a piece of cinnamon gum. She'd obviously try to cover the smell of vomit with the biggest piece of cinnamon gum in the world, but it doesn't work. She just smells like somebody vomited on a big old cinnamon tree. What are you looking at? She asked me. I'm looking at an anorexic, I say. A really hot anorexic, I want to add, but I don't. I'm not anorexic. I'm bulimic. She says it with her nose and chin in the air. She gets all arrogant, and then I remember there are a bunch of anorexics who are proud to be skinny and starved freaks. They think being anorexic makes them special, makes them better than everybody else. They have their own freaking websites where they give advice on the best laxative and stuff. What's the difference between bulimics and anorexics? I ask. Anorexics are anorexics all the time. I'm only bulimic when I'm throwing up. Wow, she sounds just like my dad. There are all kinds of addicts, I guess. We all have pain, and we all look for ways to make the pain go away. Penelope gorges on her pain and then throws it up and flushes it away. My dad drinks his pain away. So I say to Penelope what I always say to dad when drunk and depressed and ready to give up on the world. Hey, Penelope, don't give up. Okay, so it's not the wisest advice in the world. It's actually kind of obvious and corny. But Penelope starts crying and talking about how lonely she is and how everybody thinks her life is perfect because she's pretty and smart and popular, but that she's scared all the time, but nobody will let her be scared because she's pretty and smart and popular. You notice that she mentioned her beauty, intelligence, and popularity twice in one sentence? The girl has an ego, but that's sexy too. How is it that a bulimic girl with vomit on her breath can suddenly be so sexy? Love and lust can make you go crazy. I suddenly understand how my big sister Mary could have met a guy and married him 5 minutes later. I'm not so mad at her for leaving us and moving to Montana. Over the next few weeks, Penelope and I become the hot item at Reardon High School. Well, okay, we're not really exactly a romantic couple. We're more like friends with potential, but that's still cool. Everybody is absolutely shocked that Penelope chose me to be her new best friend. I'm not some ugly mutated beast, but I'm an absolute stranger at that school. And I'm an Indian. And Penelope's father, Earl, is a racist. The first time I meet him, he said, "Kid, you better keep your hands out of my daughter's panties. She's only dating you because she knows it'll piss me off. So I ain't going to get pissed. And if I ain't pissed, then she'll stop dating you. In the meantime, you just keep your trouser snake in your trousers, and I won't have to punch you in the stomach." And then you know what he said to me after that? "Kid, if you get my daughter pregnant, if you make some charcoal babies, I'm going to disown her. I'm going to kick her out of my house, and you'll have to bring her home to your mommy and daddy. You hear me straight, kid? This is on you now." Yep, Earl was a real winner. Okay, so Penelope and I became the hot topic because we were defying the great and powerful Earl. And yeah, you're probably thinking that Penelope was dating me only because I was the worst possible choice for her. She was probably dating me only because I was an Indian boy. And okay, she was only semi dating me. We held hands once in a while and we kissed once or twice, but that was it. I don't know what I meant to her. I think she was bored of being the prettiest, smartest, and most popular girl in the world. She wanted to get a little crazy, you know? She wanted to get a little smudged. And I was a smudge. But hey, I was kind of using her too. After all, I suddenly became popular. Because Penelope had publicly declared that I was cute enough to almost date, all of the other girls in school decided that I was cute too. Because I got to hold hands with Penelope and kiss her goodbye when she jumped on the school bus to go home, all of the other boys in school decided that I was a major stud. Even the teacher started paying more attention to me. I was mysterious. How did I, the dorky Indian guy, win a tiny piece of Penelope's heart? I was new. If you want to get all biological, then you have to say that I was an exciting addition to the Reardon gene pool. So, okay, those are the obvious reasons why Penelope and I were friends. All the shallow reasons. But what about the bigger and better reasons? "Arnold," she said one day after school, "I hate this little town. It's so small, too small. Everything about it is small. The people here have small ideas, small dreams. They all want to marry each other and live here forever." "What do you want to do?" I asked. "I want to leave as soon as I can." I think I was born with a suitcase. Yeah, she talked like that, all big and goofy and dramatic. I wanted to make fun of her, but she was so earnest. "Where do you want to go?" I asked. everywhere. I want to walk on the Great Wall of China. I want to walk to the top of the pyramids in Egypt. I want to swim in every ocean. I want to climb Mount Everest. I want to go on an African safari. I want to ride a dog sled in Antarctica. I want all of it, every single piece of everything. Her eyes got this strange, faraway look like she'd been hypnotized. I laughed. Don't laugh at me. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your eyes. That's the whole problem. Nobody takes me seriously. Well, come on, it's kind of hard to take you seriously when you're talking about the Great Wall of China and Egypt and stuff. Those are just big, goofy dreams. They're not real. They're real to me, she said. Why don't you quit talking in dreams and tell me what you really want to do with your life? Make it simple. I want to go to Stanford and study architecture. Wow, that's cool. But why architecture? Because I want to build something beautiful, because I want to be remembered. And I couldn't make fun of her for that dream. It was my dream too. And Indian boys weren't supposed to dream like that. And white girls from small towns weren't supposed to dream big either. We were supposed to be happy with our limitations. But there's no way Penelope and I were going to sit still. Nope, we both wanted to fly. I said, I think it's way cool that you want to travel the world, but you won't even make it halfway if you don't eat enough. She was in pain and I loved her. I sort of loved her, I guess. So I kind of had to love her pain too. Mostly I loved to look at her. I guess that's what boys do, right? And men, we look at girls and women, we stare at them, and this is what I saw when I stared at Penelope. Was it wrong to stare so much? Was it romantic at all? I don't know, but I couldn't help myself. Maybe I don't know anything about romance, but I know a little bit about beauty. And man, Penelope was crazy beautiful. Can you blame me for staring at her all day long? Rowdy gives me advice about love. Have you ever watched a beautiful woman play volleyball? Yesterday, during a game, Penelope was serving the ball, and I watched her like she was a work of art. She was wearing a white shirt and white shorts, and I could see the outlines of her white bra and white panties. Her skin was pale white, milky white, cloud white. So she was all white on white, like the most perfect kind of vanilla dessert cake you've ever seen, and I wanted to be her chocolate topping. She was serving against the mean girls from Davenport, Lady Gorillas. Yeah, you read that correctly. They willingly called themselves the Lady Gorillas, and they played like super strong primates too. Penelope and her teammates were getting killed. The score was like 12-0 in the first set. But I didn't care. I just wanted to watch the sweaty Penelope sweat her perfect sweat on that perfectly sweaty day. She stood at the service line, bounced the volleyball a few lines to get her rhythm, then tossed it into the air above her head. She tracked the ball with her blue eyes, just watched it intensely, like that volleyball mattered more than anything else in the world. I got jealous of that ball. I wished I were that ball. And as the ball floated in the air, Penelope twisted her hips back and swung her right arm back over her shoulder, coiling like a really pretty snake. Her leg muscles were stretched and taut. I almost fainted when she served, using all that twisting and flexing and concentration. She smashed the ball and aced the Lady Gorillas. And then Penelope clenched a fist and shouted, Yes! Absolutely gorgeous. Even though I didn't think I'd ever hear back, I wanted to know what to do with my feelings. So I walked over to the computer lab and I emailed Rowdy. He's at the same address for 5 years. Hey, Rowdy, I'm in love with the white girl. What should I do? A few minutes later, Rowdy wrote back, Hey, asshole. I'm sick of Indian guys who treat white women like bowling trophies. Get a life. Well, that didn't do me any good, so I asked Gordy what I should do about Penelope. I'm an Indian boy. How can I get a white girl to love me? Let me do some research on that. A few days later, he gave me a brief report. Hey Arnold, I looked up In Love with the White Girl on Google and found an article about that white girl named Cynthia who disappeared in Mexico last summer. You remember how her face was all over the papers and everybody said it was such a sad thing? I kind of remember. Well, this article said that over 200 Mexican girls have disappeared in the last 3 years in that same part of the country, and nobody says much about that. And that's racist. The guy who wrote the article says people care more about beautiful white girls than they do about everybody else on the planet. White girls are privileged. They're damsels in distress. So what does that mean? I asked. I think it means you're just a racist asshole like everybody else. Wow. In his own way, Gordy, the bookworm, was just as rough as Rowdy.